Hey everyone, this is Miles. I'm a traditional artist. I love drawing in pen and ink, and this is my first video on YouTube, so I just want to let you guys get to know me while I do some simple exercises. Today, I'm working on some basic pen and ink drawing warm-ups from, I believe it's Watson and Guptill's Rendering in Pen and Ink. Then I have some of these worksheets from Alfonso Dunn's pen and ink drawing workbook. You can see right up here in the corner. It's a great resource. So those are two links that I'll have up for you guys. And if you need a reference, it's pretty much what I'm doing right now. So I'm just going to start this up and share some details about myself, let y'all know what you're getting into here. So I've been drawing in pen and ink for, I think, 4 or 5 years. I'm self-taught, and I have been trying to figure out the best progress to make. I've definitely hit a few bumps in the road, but I think I'm really at a place where I'm moving confidently. And that's something that I want to be able to reinforce for folks that get invested in this channel. How we can do our art with confidence. And I don't think anything really inspires moving confidently with your tools and with your art than pen and ink. You can't take back a stroke, you can't take back a move. You kind of have to take a mistake that happens if you get any jitters, and just continue going. And the mistake that you do see is really just an opportunity to learn. How am I dragging my arm across the page? How was I really thinking about how to draw that character's hand that I was copying? There's just these little things that, in the end, once you commit, what you would traditionally consider to be an error really just turns out to be a lesson. And I know that's kind of intense, but that's honestly just my personality and how it's sort of transitioned to my art, you know? And we all have a little something different. If you have, I don't know, some insights on how your personality and just how you approach things impacts your art, feel free to share in the comments. I would like to get to know you folks as we continue on this journey. I'm starting with the basic exercises, but I do want to build up into things that are more complex. This is my first time really working and doing things behind a camera and or in front of a camera, and I want to be kind to myself and let myself build up the confidence as I get used to sketching and talking. Um, I feel like I do have some cool things that I can share, just some insights from doing what I've been doing for long enough. And I just want to be able to talk with community and see what else is out there, see what I can learn. But everything eventually gets funneled down into what our interests are, right? And my interests are in comics. That's right. Sequential art. I'm all in. Whether it's, traditional, Western comics, or manga. I haven't gone super far into doing webtoons or just like reading up on what's going there, but I know it's really cool. And I have a bunch of story ideas that I want to try to execute. I can think of one already that can potentially work for webtoons, but that is my passion. That's what I'm aiming for. And there we see mistake, but I understand the trajectory. I just keep moving. And even that Um, Trajectory needs to be adjusted a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, I just love what stories are being told right now in comics. And not just for, you know, purely for the craft of storytelling. I like to see how people are having fun with the medium as well. I love observing people's art styles. Like for instance, one artist I love a ton. Um, of course, there's Michiro Oda, what he's doing for One Piece. Kai K Urana and Gachi Okuda is awesome. But even before that, Doro Hidoro, I uh, before the anime came out, I was checking that out and I thought that was awesome. Um, the Western comics that I'm currently checking out right now, there's a few that are out. Power Fantasy, um, which is really cool. It brings this really cool sense of inertia to um, superhero, the superhero trope, where you only have a few superheroes that have these overcharged powers, and if any of them wasn't clearly monitoring the scale that they were using their abilities, they could wipe out the planet or they could cause a huge gap in the population. They would destroy things. So they keep each other in check. And I don't know how long you can hold that type of suspense, but it turns out, at least to start, you want to get those backstories going, and I think the author does a great job of setting up world building. I would recommend it. It's pretty crazy. The next pretty cool comic. It just came out. I think it's called Ghost Pepper, and that's a cool one. uh, it gives the old tale of a major crisis that was averted by a mysterious hero. There's this thing called the the Cinder, I believe, and you know, uh, the world was almost done until somebody came through and cast the threat away. Um, Now that sounds like a plot that would easily fall into like a fantasy trope until you find out the twist, which I won't spoil for you, but it is pretty funny once you actually read into it. It's only the first issue that's out. I love the art, and I think it's really promising. It really feels like an old, early 2000s cartoon in its premise. So please do check it out. And then lastly, I know I started talking about anime and even in Western comics right now, um, that really is influencing things for me. It's Peach Momoko's um, run of Ultimate X-Men. That is a lot of fun for me right now. It is sort of like murder mystery, magical girl, with the sort of sci-fi twist of what X-Men brings to the table. We're dealing with mutants, but these are folks that are just out of high school, and it doesn't get into, I think, a lot of like the drama of like being in school. Some of the themes are pretty dark. Um, so that's something to consider. But the art style is amazing. I think officially like 20 issues in, 21 issues in. Um, yeah, so check that out when you can. All right. I need to shore up my line work a bit. A bit too focused on talking. I think this should be a little larger. All right. So, I gave a little bit of info of why I like to pick up the pen and, just do scribbles, which I honestly want to do more of. There is just the challenge and getting the sense that I'm plucking away and I can see my mistakes clearly and I know what to target with my next drawing. There's the ultimate goal, making comics and making illustrations. I want to be commissioned to do works and I want to be able to show progress being made. But I also feel like it's a journey, and why I'm drawing and sort of bringing my work to YouTube is because I want to create community. There are a lot of great communities out there already. Um, I like the sort of setup there are for Drawbox. I was trying Artwad for a bit. I love their exercises, their fundamental road, especially for getting into perspective, which I still need to work on. But I have a feeling that sometimes, let me know if I'm not alone in this, when a community is already established, it can feel a little daunting to just sort of jump in. So at least this works twofold, and I'm moving on to the next one. I'm showing a little bit of what I get into, and it's not just the drawing lines, but there's also another opportunity to show what I'm about. And I think it is fair to consider this to be more of a slower pace in the long run. But I'm hoping that doing this will also help me to ramp up. So I'll let you guys in on a little strategy that I develop when I'm doing these worksheets. There are really nice guided lines that I'll do halfway just to get a sense of how my arm should be moving. Then I'll just try to copy it. And I'll just do a few. And if I feel like I still don't got it, I can just go back in, work back in. These are just a little way to warm up. Sometimes it's these worksheets, other times it is just doing some gesture drawing. But it's working things out with ink. So even if I do have a few screw ups, I just have to learn from that mistake and see if I can do a little better. All right, well, that is pretty much all I got for us today. I'm going to continue finishing up my exercise, but I will catch you guys in the next video. Um, there is one more thing. Just to share with you guys a bit of my process, and I'll share with you folks my end result. But I do have these little activity sheets. I have a bag and I'll pick a random one. So this is for a worksheet that I've made for myself, taking simple object prompts from 2D to 3D and then putting them in 2-point perspective. And to say 2-point perspective, I'm just taking a blank sheet like this. So this is my first vanishing point, and then my second vanishing point is just off the page. I'll use at least this or a smaller sketchbook. I'll show you how that turns out. But yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I'll catch you next time. I hope I wasn't just speaking to myself this entire time.